Okay, so is the West secular? I think that there's this like really weird and abnormal, I guess, strive for the West to try and deem themselves secular. We talk about like the hijab ban over in in France, and there's like so many like over in public schools you're not allowed to wear hijab, and for instance, there are certain religions that are not allowed, and like in the Chinese government you're not allowed to be an official if you adhere to a religion and that sort of thing. And we kind of say that governments are not religious at all, and I think that's really kind of false, because if we think about it, nationalism, patriotism, all of these things are kind of like religions. And for instance, in the same way that God kind of punishes you if you, in most religions, there's this idea that if you do bad, you're punished. And so, in the same way, governments, if you do bad, you're punished, you're thrown into jail. And in the same way that God is, or karma, or it's all seeing, it's all knowing. In Islam, there's like this view that God is all seeing and all knowing. And so, in the same way, the government tries to play it up, like saying that they can see you when you do bad. Now there are cameras who are watching you, like Big Brother and that sort of thing. And in its a way, it's kind of like our governments are trying to be gods. And each government, it's not all equal, but in the Quran, it talks about if if there are many gods, that there would be utter chaos in the world. And in a kind of way, I think that our international realm is kind of chaotic. And because all of our governments are fighting against each other, and basically the top dog right now, or who would be Zeus, would be America. And then there are all the other lower gods who kind of have to deal with America. And for instance, all of us Americans, I'm American, I happen to be American myself, are kind of like devotees to America. And as being devotees to America, as America gets stronger, we're kind of given the perks. And so I don't think that, like, I think politics and religion have go way back in hand. And I think that this idea that governments, especially Western governments, are secular is just a kind of ridiculous thought. And in fact, I think that they try and reduce, um, I guess, religiousness, because all of a sudden if you're religious, and let's say you're in the secular environment, um, or you're in any environment, in the government environment, you're also not only adhering to laws in this land and in this realm, but also into another realm. You're adhering to God's law, God's law, or just like a different realm. And so therefore, sometimes what's realistic and what's like otherworldly don't really make sense, or sometimes they clash. And people who are religious will sometimes take the side of otherworldly, and that could be conflicting to the desires of the state and of the government. Because all of a sudden, if you do something and you say, oh, I did it for religious reasons, then they all of a sudden have to consider that. So if you say you're a secular government, you can say that, we kind of override. So those are like my 2 cents on government. And government will always be religious. Politics will always be religious. And to think that we have a separation of church and state is really silly. Yes, thank you for listening.